So as long as I've been cooking, I've always been a little bit chubby. And people like that because they're like, oh, you gotta trust kind of a chubby chef. You can't trust a skinny chef. I don't know if I believe that. And sometimes whenever I crave something kind of heavier and a little bit more, hits the gut, I feel guilty. But I wanted to make a dish that was a play off mac and cheese that I didn't feel too crazy guilty about. You can make this. It is so delicious. It is cauliflower mac and cheese. So cauli and peas mac and cheese in under 15 minutes. Check this out. So if you cook with cauliflower a lot, actually I gotta start the timer. Whoops, here we go. Howard, you with me?
I'm here.
Okay, timer's going, 15 minutes. Can it be done? I don't know. Cauliflower itself, okay? Don't get it already hacked up because there's lots and lots of goodies on there that's already connected to the cauliflower that you wanna keep. So the way you handle any cauliflower is you cut it down the middle, cut it down the middle again, just kind of turning it. So you have 4 kind of little quadrants there, cool? And then you just kind of put one on its side and you just sneak your knife down so you have the core there and then you can see the florets kind of just break apart. Pretty easy, right? And I just kind of want to bite-sized florets. Now, in a lot of recipes, whether it's soup or, pasta, they call for you to get rid of this part. This is the core. Keep the core, baby. Keep it. This is so good. It's crunchy, it's creamy, it's absolutely delicious. So I'll show you what to do with that in a sec. But we're gonna kind of just bust these open. Again, just kind of bite-sized pieces. And I've got my oven at about 425 the way it always is. But I am gonna throw it on a little bit of a higher heat because I wanna bust this out. So I'm gonna put it on broil. And for those of you who don't know what broil literally means just from the top down. It just literally blasts whatever in there. So it gets really, really dark, really, really fast. So as long as these are small enough, they'll cook through. But if they're too big, they're just gonna get kind of dark on the outside without cooking through. All right, so I'm just kind of busting these up. As for the cores themselves, take your knife and cut them like the same size. Just like that. And listen, even raw, it freaking rocks. It's really good. You can grate this into a coleslaw or a salad. It's really awesome. All right. So I've got my cores, I've got my florets, and even, Howard, check this out. These are the leaves. These are so good. They taste like broccoli. They're awesome in stir fries. I love them. But I'm just gonna kind of leave them in there so it's like, I've got the whole cauliflower. I'm gonna grab a pan. Which one am I gonna grab? Grab this guy, cool. All of these in, beautiful. And we just kind of want to give them like a touch of heat, right? Just to give them a little kiss. And they're still going to be a little al dente because I don't want like really soft cauliflower because I'm making a cheese sauce, which is kind of velvety and silky. So you kind of want to have those like texture differences. I'm going to grab some olive oil and some salt and pepper. Really, really easy. Cool. And this, by the way, you can mac and cheese anything, right? I mean, if you had just some roasted squash, sweet potatoes, chicken, it doesn't matter. You can mac and cheese it. So as long as you kind of learn the base of the sauce, you can make the most of what you got, which is what Seconds is all about. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of mix these up. It actually already smells really good. When you season things with salt and pepper, if you don't smell the pepper, it's not enough, my opinion, my humble opinion. All right, under the broiler it goes. About, 10 minutes or so. Cool. So that's doing its thing. Now we're gonna make a cheese sauce. This sauce is so dangerous. Just listen to me when I say this. When you eat this, you won't be able to stop. Just do something, tie your hands back. This thing is so addicting and it's really easy to rock out. So, I've got some butter. I've got a bunch of cheese. And it really doesn't matter what kind of cheese you have. I've got, some sharp cheddar. Oh, this is awesome. My little grocery store. Look at this, Howard. Can you get in really close? $1.08 for this fancy cheese that cut all the little ends off. This is why we call it Seconds, all the forgotten bits. This little bit, oh my God, just $1. And it's gonna just set this whole mac and cheese on fire. And then of course, king of them all, Parmesan. So I'm gonna grab a little bit, a little pot. Cool, I'm gonna throw this on the heat. And I'm gonna make what's called a roux. And I'm curious, Howard, do you know what a roux is?
I don't. I think it's Kanga's.
No, it has nothing to do with Kanga. Has nothing to do with Kanga. A roux is a thickener of a sauce. So this is what's gonna thicken the cheese sauce. And it actually thickens any sauce. So if you know how to rock out a roux, you can make a gravy. You can make so many different sauces lush and velvety and thick. So the way a roux works is it's equal parts flour and fat. So I've got some butter, and I'm gonna add about 3 tablespoons. And again, that's like finger length or chubby thumb length. I always think my thumb looks like Shrek's thumb. Is that weird? I mean, literally, whenever it gets photographed, whenever it just shows up, it's just hairy and big. Sorry, it is. It's part of being Jewish, the way I was raised, hairy big thumb. And then I've got the exact same amount of flour, and when I mean exact, there's nothing exact in my kitchen, especially on a Monday like today. So I'm melting my butter, and I'm just gonna kind of eye how much flour is about the same amount. So I think a couple of good pinches. This is just one of those things you can't really mess up, right? No big deal. If you go a little heavier with the flour, it's still gonna work. If you go a little lighter with the flour, it will still activate and thicken up, so don't worry about it. I'm gonna grab a wood spoon, and Howard, if you can kind of look in here, I'm just kind of cooking these things together. Cool? If you do not cook the flour in this and kind of toast it and get it going, you'll taste it, and it will taste like oobleck. Howard, do you know what oobleck is?
I don't.
You don't know what oobleck is? Oh my God, it's like a kindergarten thing. If you're out there and you know what oobleck is, please shoot a comment down there so I know I'm not alone. But the reality is oobleck is this thing that you would make with like water and cornstarch, I think, in like kindergarten. And it would just get everywhere. It was pasty. You would use it for like paper mache. Of course I ate it. So you don't want to eat that, but this, you can see, is kind of that texture of just, it's a little bit pasty in the beginning, but as you cook it out, it gets darker, a little bit more nutty, and really delicious. So, let that cook for a sec. I've got some milk, and this is about a little over a cup. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a whisk, and once this flour is kind of completely there, do you see that, Howard? How it's all melted and kind of together? Yeah, beautiful. I'm gonna now whisk in the milk. And what's gonna happen is, as this kind of comes up to the boil, the milk is gonna get thick. Beautiful. And again, not measuring anything. Just kind of pouring in the milk. In the beginning, it's not gonna get thick, but as it heats up, it's gonna kind of tighten and kind of become that mac and cheese thing we all love. So milk in, on the boil. I'm gonna save just a little bit, because if it gets too thick, I can always thin it out. And if it gets really thick, you can always add a little bit of water. It's totally fine. All right, so let's talk cheese. Like I said, I've got Parmesan, and I say this as much as I can. When you buy Parmesan, if it doesn't have the stamp, it's not Parmesan, period. It doesn't have the saltiness, it doesn't have that aged kind of crispiness that all Parmesan should have. So buy Parmesan, it's expensive, it's just so worth it. And then I'm gonna grab some Tillamook. This is some extra white cheddar, just some stuff I had. And by the way, you can absolutely freeze cheese. People don't realize that, but freezing cheese keeps it totally fine. Just kind of thaw it out in the fridge 24 hours before you use it. And then I've got this little nub. What is this? This is Wag Reserve 18 months. I cannot afford to buy this cheese. This is a really nice cheese. It smells like almondy, like it smells really delicious. But like a big chunk of it would probably set me way back. So just to have a little bit of it kind of just sets off the whole mac and cheese in the right direction. I'm gonna grab one of these guys. I'm sure we all have one of those. And I'm going to just grate all my cheese. When you only have one cheese in a mac and cheese, it's kind of like listening to one note in a song. Boring, boring ass song. So you want to have kind of those ebbs and flows. Oh my gosh, 6 minutes. Yikes. Okay. I only have 6 minutes left. It's insane how this kind of creeps up on you. All right, so I've got Parmesan. I'm gonna do equal parts Parmesan and cheddar. And then I'm just gonna kind of watch my hand with this special little cheese. And again, $1 at the market. I love how markets are doing that now. And if you just have some chunks like this, they'll melt. So it's okay if you can't get every little bit. All right, I'm gonna chop that little end. Save these little bits. Can you see that, Howard? This just tossed in your next sauce, your next braise. It just adds salty creaminess to it. So these are just kind of the cheese ends, the rinds. Save them. All right, let's check the cheese sauce. It's getting thicker. Can you see, Howard? It's starting to look a little bit more like heavy cream as opposed to just milk. And as it comes to the boil, it's really gonna get thick. So I'm gonna grab one last ingredient, which for me, I don't know, I think this is like a growing up thing. But my brother always asked for his birthday to have like mac and cheese and peas. And so peas and mac and cheese kind of just go together in my mind. So I've got some frozen peas here. And I'm just gonna heat them up in the sauce. You can see the sauce is now looking like pancake batter, even thicker than heavy cream. And what I'm gonna do, and I had a really good question about this from, I think Danny19 was his username, but I'm gonna turn off the heat and add the cheese. And he asked, well, why do you turn off the heat? Why is that a big deal? And the reason why that's a big deal is when you add cheese to anything hot, because there's fat in it, it can separate, just like a vinaigrette can separate. So the fat would kind of come out and cool out. So by turning off the heat, it actually just kind of emulsifies. Look at this. And you have this amazing kind of coherent cheese sauce. There's been no salt and pepper in there, which is my bad. Pep, salt, and then you gotta taste it. How much time do I got, Howard? 3 minutes, 53 seconds, okay. So, cheese sauce there. I'm gonna add my peas. These are frozen peas. Everyone's like, oh God, frozen food, you're adding frozen food. Peas are one of those things that I love buying frozen because they're so small and they're such high in water content, they actually freeze really well, right? Just gotta kind of bust them up. All right, so peas in. Look at this, look at that. Look at those cheesy peas. By the time the cauliflower hits it, you know you're golden. All right, I wanted to do one more thing. Oh my God, I totally forgot about it. But I don't even know if I have time. Let's see if I can do it. You don't need to do this step. If we make it, great. But I'm gonna do a really quick breadcrumb. I've got some frozen bread. It's like a rock, right? I put all my bread in the freezer just to last longer. And I'm just gonna kind of cut it to little strips. This is just white bread. Probably don't need that much. And then cut those into little cubes. And making your own breadcrumbs like this, just on the fly, is so easy. And I just kind of crumple them up and then into a hot pan, right? Really, really easy. A little bit of olive oil, just for them to kind of get toasty in. Some pepper and salt. And then I'm gonna put some chili. And when I mean chili, I've got like these red pepper flakes. You probably get them at like, you know, with your pizza delivery or whatever. These will just kind of set the whole thing off. Give it a little zing. All right, we'll let those toast on a high heat. How much time, Howard? 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Let me check my cauli. They're looking nice. Yes, look at that. Just a little bit of brown. Still got some twosome. I just lost like 4 cauliflower in the oven. Can't wait to find that later. So, cauliflower here. Now I'm gonna kind of assemble it. So check this out. Skillet, perfect. The cauliflower is just toothsome. I can tell it's brown, right? But when I eat the cauliflower, I'm still gonna get a crunch, which is exactly how I'd want my mac and cheese too. All right, look at this cheese sauce. Are you getting this?
Yeah, good.
Come on, right? You don't have to feel guilty about a cheese sauce when it's cauliflower. Then you just kind of mix that through. You can absolutely freeze this and then bake it again, but this is kind of the vibe you're going for. It's this really beautiful, kind of lush, creamy, crunchy, just so delicious, stick to your bones type thing. This looks really, really good. All right, I haven't even tried it. I gotta try it. Let's see, and you can see the core in there. I mean, call me crazy. I think it's kind of better than mac and cheese. And you definitely don't feel as guilty. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. Looks really, really good. We've got our breadcrumbs happening. Look at those, right? Just some crispy bits so the whole thing's not just creamy. I've got 38 seconds, come on. All right, I got this. Mac and cheese out, or I should say cauliflower peas. Mac and cheese out. Looks really good. Give the pan or the plate a little shake. Grab my breadcrumbs right over the top. And then maybe just one more hit of cheese, because I got it and I want it. That looks really good. 3 seconds, 2, 1. Time's up. On the money! That's how I roll right there. Look at this. Cauliflower instead of pasta. You don't have to feel guilty about it. So no excuses. And if you want more recipes in 15 minutes or less, and you want to check out our hot seconds, go to readyforseconds.com right now. See you there.